When I was 18, I was a babysitter for three young boys across town from me. They were 3, 5, and 7. I'll just call them Adam 3, Bobby 5, and Chris 7, ABC. Adam and Chris were the easiest to take care of. Adam was a surprisingly well-behaved toddler, and Chris just liked to play his video games and watch TV. Bobby, on the other hand, was very moody, a picky eater, and difficult to get to go to sleep. I had worked for this family for months, and I was somewhat close with their mom, Lucy, who was raising them by herself. They had a decently modest middle-class house. Lucy's parents would help her out with finances and such. All three boys had their own rooms. Lucy worked nights at the time, so I'd always babysit till around midnight on weeknights. My college classes would start in the afternoon, so a worked-out schedule and sleep-wise. One night after playing some Nintendo Wii games with Chris, I put Adam to bed, and not long after, Bobby. Chris's bedtime would be 9:30, Bobby's would be 9. After tucking Bobby in, I started telling Chris to start changing into his PJs after his next game was over. Chris insisted I play one more game of Wii Tennis with him, so I made a deal that he'd go to bed after if I did. During our game though, Bobby started crying for me up from his room. I paused the game and went upstairs. As I entered his room, he said, "There's a monster in his closet." I laughed and I believe I pinched his cheek and said something along the lines of, "There's no such thing as monsters, but I'll leave the door open so you feel safer." Then I asked if that made him feel better and he nodded. Chris was downstairs calling for me to come back, all annoyed, so I went back to the game of tennis and we resumed. We eventually finished the game with no interruptions. At this point, Chris went upstairs to change into his pajamas and brush his teeth, and I was alone in the kitchen watching TV. That's when Bobby's cries from upstairs echoed down again. I went up to his room again, and he was hiding under his covers. He said once again, "There's a monster in the closet." I heard it. I looked at the closet door, which was closed. I looked at it for a while, actually, then back at Bobby and asked, "Why do you think there's a monster in there?" And he replied, "I keep hearing it moving." I asked him if he wanted me to take a look, and he shook his head no. I walked closer to the closet anyway, and he said, "Don't." I didn't take him seriously until I heard something in the closet myself. It was very clearly the sound of something alive in that closet that tapped into the door or something behind the door. Bobby whispered, "See?" I turned around and picked up Bobby and said, "We're going to another room." I also grabbed Chris from the bathroom and brought him into Adam's room, where I locked the door. Adam and Lucy's room share a Jack and Jill bathroom with 2 entrances. I went into the bathroom and called Lucy, and quietly asked if there was a possibility of there being an animal in the house or in the walls, because there were sounds that Bobby was hearing that I heard myself. She sounded concerned right away and wanted me to check the closet. I kept her on the phone as I went back to Bobby's room. My discovering the closet door to now be ajar confirmed that there was someone in the house with us. I told Lucy and she freaked out, telling me it was most likely her crazy ex and to get the kids out of the house. I suddenly felt like my life was in danger and her ex was going to come out of nowhere and run at me. I went to Adam's room and managed to get the 3 kids out of the room, but just as I did, I heard the front door to the house slam shut. I peeked down into the living room and there was no one there, but the front door was shut. He must have made an exit while he could. I went to lock the door, then called 911. Lucy came home from work early and was there when the police came. Without cameras or anything, there was no proof that it was her ex, though. Her ex is the father of Adam, but she keeps them away from her because of their past that I won't get into for her privacy. Long story short, he can't take it, and she just recently blocked his number, which would explain the possibility of him breaking into the house. Bailey B works at an old theatre that is said to be haunted. Although Bailey loves his job, there's something about it he wishes he could change. He often works at night and he doesn't like this. For some reason, whenever Bailey's on stage, he can't help but feel like there's someone there. It almost feels like there's someone watching him. It's for this reason that he often records while working. But then one night, Bailey receives a notification that a sensor has detected motion inside the theatre. Bailey writes, "This is the scariest thing that has ever happened to me. I might quit." This is what he captured. It's 9 p.m. on a Saturday. This is my life. So I'm walking through the main stage. Here, I'll flip it. Okay. Ghost light is on. No one in here. Hello. Okay. Bailey was in total shock and was trying to process what he'd seen. Now, it could be that someone had broken in and decided to seat themselves on the balcony. But Given the history of this place, which has had numerous paranormal occurrences, Bailey can't shake the thought of this being a ghostly encounter. But if anything, Bailey can rest assured that he isn't losing his mind, as what he captured on camera shows that someone or something was actually watching him. A father takes his wife and child to a theme park and while recording them captures something pretty creepy. The father states that after coming back from the theme park, his daughter told him that she was scared of going back, but it wasn't because she was afraid of the rides, but because of something else. It was only after looking back at the footage he captured that he understood why his daughter was so afraid. This is what he caught. Be sure to look closely, or you'll miss it. Right behind his daughter, there appears to be a hand coming out of nowhere. The scariest part about this, though, is the fact that it seems to be reaching out to her, but as if that wasn't creepy enough, something else was caught on camera that also went unnoticed earlier in the video. The father is recording a boat that's passing by when, out of nowhere, he captures this. I honestly have no explanation for this, but I have plenty of questions. I can't help but think that this might have been the same hand that appears later on. But what's even more creepy about this is that it looks like it's trying to get the father's attention. Or could it be that it was trying to get the daughter's? There has yet to be an explanation for this, but as always, what are your thoughts? Home alone. A dog and her owner are both home alone when the following happens. The owner who posted the video writes, "Hazel has been growling for 10 minutes. I checked the security cameras to see if someone was outside.